Hello, this is my homicide application. It's a web application that I created based on the publicly available data that I used for my doctoral dissertation. This is all data that was provided to me by Justin Fenton from the Baltimore Sun newspaper, along with some of the data that I collected myself and verified to make sure that that all these cases actually did exist and that happened when they happened, where they happened, and to whom they happened to. So I put it together using R and then posted it on shinyapps.io. So it's a way of looking at the homicides in Baltimore and looking at them however you want to look at them. So you'll see that we start off with some options here at the top. So let's say I want to know about homicides in people over the age of 65 who are African American in Baltimore. So, and specifically men. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose leave the date range as it is. Um, Choose all the community statistical areas, and then I'm gonna say okay, so only African American men. And as you see, as I click on the options, the map down here starts being updated, and I'm gonna say men. So click the female to undo that option, and then over the age of 65. So this is inclusive, so 65 and over. So you see that the homicides for men 65 and over are, well, they're pretty well dispersed throughout the whole city. They're not as concentrated. What about homicides that are only shootings in men, African American men over the age of 65? So then you see that here. So this helps you answer some questions about what happened in Baltimore between 2005 and 2017 with respect to homicides. Let's say that I want to see homicides in children, so 0 to 17, and I'm just going to go ahead and say all races and ethnicities and genders, and I want to see how many of those were shootings. So you see that there were a lot of shootings in children and at that time, but let's say that I want to visualize it. So I want to visualize this by race and ethnicity again. So you see a lot of African American kids were killed by shootings in Baltimore between January 2nd, 2005, because there were no homicides on January 1st, to January 27, 2017, because 2017 ended with no homicides on the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st of December. So you can see that here on the map. The other thing that I've added is a graph section, so you can look at the frequency distribution. So when we're talking about children, in that there were very few, and then it really picks up at around age 15. In fact, that kind of makes you wonder if you bring it to below 15. How does that change? And here you go, you have a little more, and this is because they're still in that bin. So this is 0 to 5, 5 to 10, this is 0, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 11 to 15, so that they're still in that bin there. But let's bring it down to 10. You can see 0 to 5 and 6 to 10. The distributions there. The green line is the median, and the blue line is the mean age for that group. So this is version 1. I worked on it over the last couple of weeks, about 10 days, about 2 hours per day or so to get it up and running. Did a lot of testing on it, still doing some more testing on it. I'm going to include a reset button to just send everything back to the original because I've noticed that is something that is needed, so you don't have to go and re-click everything again if you want to get back to the original. Oh, the other thing is a table. So I have the table here of events, the address at the block level, the date that it happened, the community statistical area where it happened, the age, gender, everything. And again, it's all according to what was published in the media or what the Baltimore Police Department put out in media advisories or in press releases. So it's not Uh, it's not meant to be identifying of any one individual or individuals in the shooting. So, that's kind of the thing that I really don't want to do is say, oh, that was so and so, and that was so and so. No, I just want to put this out there without identifying the individuals, because I think that is best. Um, yeah. So I also have a bar plot, race, ethnicity. You can see overwhelmingly most of the victims have been African American. They've been African American men between 15 and 35. If you read my doctoral dissertation, and then homicides per day, there hasn't been a day that has had more than 5 homicides in one day. There's been plenty of those that have had five, and obviously there's plenty of days that have had one. And there don't seem to be a lot of runs of days without at least one homicide. There's a couple in here that are actually a week, but only very rarely. So a lot of homicides in Baltimore. And then we go back to the map. Um, let's see, map it by gender or cause of death. You can see most of them have been shootings. So let's take away the shootings and look at the other causes of death. And they seem to be concentrated as well. Let's only look at stabbings. And let's only look at stabbings in females. Again, they get dispersed. And that's the thing about geographic analysis. If you want to look at clusters, don't just generalize and look at the clusters of all the cases. Look at the clusters of the person, place, and time that you're interested in. And then by statistical area. So here's something that I found really interesting. So Canton, which is right here, we're going to zoom in on it. And it includes Patterson Park. So there's been 3, 5, 7, 8 homicides there. And let's just look at the ones right there. Okay, and let's look at them by gender. And there you go, all yellow. Oh, they've all been men. I'm gonna play around with the colors to make them a little more visible. But something interesting, in those 13 years of analysis in Canton, all the homicide victims have been men. And then you look at the cause of death, all except one were shootings. And race and ethnicity, there's a mix between African American and whites, and you actually see that in the table here. 3, 4, 5, 6 African Americans, 3 whites, more or less the population distribution of the whole city. So again, this is version 1.0. I'm still working on it. If you have any suggestions, I'm gonna allow people to play with it once it's really fine-tuned, because I still have some things to do. So like that reset button, etc. But here it is. Thank you for your time.